Oh, hey.
Hi, Internet.
Oh, hey guys, you're live on the internets.
Oh, hey.
I mean, it's no Festivus video where I did the remember you were with me, Graham. There's the pole, and I'm just polishing the pole and just doing it like this, and I just turn to go, oh,
Didn't see you there.
hi there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, that kind of talk you usually save for
Do you after dark?
Injury
Oh.
time.
There's going to be, for injury time, we're going to talk a little shop. I held off on it. Mel had one hell of an idea for programming change for next season that I'm a big fan of, and I want to discuss. So
I produced a, dare I say it, idea.
yeah, she produced an idea.
Idea.
I think
Mark that down on the Women's History Month calendar.
Do you want to show your support for Women's History Month? Say it with an autogram.
Holy shit, she's got a brain.
Oh,
so
the
I hope your
autogram
mom's
says all.
watching.
So fucking stupid.
You know what, Sam? I would say right now, especially with the hair as wild as it is, you definitely look like Podcasting Boy from that photo. You just need a vest. You're missing your podcasting vest. That's really
That's right.
because it all becomes complete with a podcasting vest.
Of course.
All right, we ready to do a fucking show?
I thought you were already.
I mean, I am a show. It does not mean we are performing a show.
You're a parade.
You know it.
You can't be a show and a parade. That's just too much. One or the other.
As a quality alpha male, I could be whatever the fuck I want to be.
Hashtag sound check. This is why you Patreon. All right.
Ready?
This is JB McConville, aka J Business. I don't have any allegiance, I'm just looking for the money. You're listening to the DU Football Show.
I'd say he has some allegiances. Busting
claims
your
to have.
chops, definitely.
Yeah.
Busting my chops about Son all the time, making that a point, yeah. And I think he's probably actively rooting for Everton to go down.
I'm sure
but
he is.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Sam Houston? Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey. Sam Graham. Drunkard United! Drunkard United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, with the perfect podcastable hair, Mr. Samuel Graham. Still need a podcasting vest. How you doing, Mr. Graham?
You know, I'm just dedicated to my craft. Okay. Got a FICA on the way, too, for the studio.
And remember, a
I've been
notepad
practicing-
with no notes written on it.
I've been practicing my 5,000-yard stare, too.
It's incredibly important to also have a computer that is not plugged in.
Ah, damn. This one is plugged in. Oh, it's at 69%. Draw hard around it.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcasting platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
And as I was with the Mobtown Magpies and for their national meetup
Yes.
of Newcastle on Sunday at Mount Washington's Abbey.
Yep.
Keith did make it known that he does emails to both the Middle Class Holes, our boy Alan's show, and to DU Football
Us,
Show.
yeah.
And he said in front of both of us, at least they read my emails.
Damn.
Pointed that on me.
Damn, Alan, what are you doing, bro?
It's not that hard, man.
We
It's
know-
not that hard.
We know which one's the more successful podcast.
I was gonna say either that or Alan just gets so many emails.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, drumroll. We conclude the Whiskey Advocate list of 2022.
There it was.
There you are. Nicely done.
Hey,
There we go.
wow. You produced something else just late this time.
Better late than never.
Hey, that brain's on its last legs. Had
Well-
that one good idea, and now
Well, you know, women always late. We finished.
you'd hope not. You know what that means.
Misogyny Theater.
Misogyny theater,
Hey,
satire, satire.
I've had 2 different women be late a total of 3 times. It's cost me a hell of a lot of money.
We
JK,
finished
JK.
the top 20 list from Whiskey Advocates.
They've done it again.
And here we go. Mr. Graham, tell us about numero uno.
Number motherfucking 1. This year's Whiskey Advocate Whiskey of the Year is your Jack Daniel's Bonded. So this is a bottle and bond Tennessee whiskey, which means it's 100 proof. Got a 97. Should run you around $30 on the shelf. It is readily available, but remember, you might need to buy 2 because it's only a 700 milliliter,
Right, not a 750.
not a 750. And your blurb is a long one. Comes from David Fleming of the Whiskey Advocates tasting panel. For the team at Jack Daniel's Distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee, filling barrels for its Old No. 7 brand, the largest selling American whiskey in the world, has been a nearly all-consuming task over the decades. But there have been some adventures beyond that core label, of course, and this year we were treated to one of them, Jack Daniel's Bonded. In selecting the whiskeys for this final blend, the search was on throughout the warehouses for whiskeys with boldness and depth of color. That search struck gold as Jack Daniel's Bonded emerged to become our 2022 Whiskey of the Year. Like all bonded whiskeys, Jack Daniel's Bonded was produced in one distilling season, aged for a minimum of 4 years, and bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. Our tasters found gentle aromas of dried herbs, cherry, banana, and well-integrated oak on the nose, leading to a bold palate of honeyed peanuts, brown sugar, dark chocolate, and melted caramel, all accented by peppery spice. Even with its heft and pleasant mature notes, this is still a fresh, vibrant whiskey. It's also one with lots of character, offering a host of flavors that marry well. Jack Daniel's Bonded isn't entirely new, as it has been available in global travel retail for the past several years. This year became the chosen moment to have it join the permanent range. It's now part of the new Jack Daniel's Bonded series, which seems like a place where we will find other interesting bonded expressions in the future. So that is your Whiskey Advocate top 20 list, complete for the second year running. We're doing very well.
Every single bottle, it's fantastic. It's a great flavor whiskey. It is easy to drink, and you know what? We're gonna go ahead. Let's squash what would be the whataboutisms and shit of just the faults that people are gonna say. Oh, this whiskey is bought and sold. This list is bought and sold. It's all about advertisers. Yeah, there's absolutely strong advertisers who typically get on this list. Hey, everybody, newsflash. Brook-Lottie is owned by the Remy Martin Corporation. Do you notice that a Port Charlotte or a Brook-Lottie is on the list almost every fucking year?
Yep.
And most of you would say, oh, yeah, it's because it's a quality Isla whiskey. Okay. But I would also, but that's where, people are going to have that kind of, we're going to think this way about this singular whiskey because it's from Isle of Scotland, and it's, we're going to assume it's just something special. And then we're going to turn around and look at Dickel or Dewar's or Jack and go, because it's readily available and it's popular. It's like, oh yeah, they gave a bunch of money for that. And there is a little bit of favoritism in that regards. I can honestly say with my brand, we did not buy any advertising through them. It was, we sent our bottle and that's the fucking rating it got. Like, that's just what happened. So, and there's plenty of different things that, got great ratings on this list that were not, big advertisers and something like that. So this is a great fucking whiskey. It's readily fucking available. You should be happy that number one is easy to get. And for people who want to shit on Jack Daniels, it's probably because they don't like the Lincoln County process. They don't like the charcoal mellowing. It makes it a little bit sweeter than bourbon. That's the major difference between a Tennessee whiskey and a bourbon, is there's that little bit of extra sweetness to it. The Jack Daniels, and I'm sorry, I'm going on a roll right now,
It's
but
fascinating. Please continue.
the Jack Daniels 10-year-old from last year's list was fucking exceptional. It was, and you treat it for what it is. It's like, oh, imagine if Jack Daniels made an age statement, and it was fucking brilliant. You also, as a company, as Brown-Forman and Jack Daniels as a distillery, you can't pull that off every fucking year. You can't. You're never going to fucking have enough juice.
Because you got to fill the regular black label.
Exactly. Because, oh my God, it happens to be one of the most popular selling whiskeys in the world. Fuck you for being a popular fucking whiskey. Like, fuck off. Stop it. This is an opportunity to be able to make something that would then be readily available. Yeah. And it's fucking great. It's worth every fucking dime. I'm okay with it being number one. Do I think there were better whiskeys on this list this year? Personal preference, yeah, sure. But I get why it's number one.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fucking good. It's fucking good.
I'm not a Jack Daniels fan. I don't drink regular Jack for real at all. And the 10-year-old last year and the bonded this year are both exceptional. Yeah, they're excellent. This one's very good. I am actually quite impressed with it. It's something I would drink again. And being readily available, I'd keep it on my bar at home. It's a good whiskey. Now, same. There are other things. I'm just not a super big fan of the Tennessee process,
right?
Of
the Lincoln County process.
Lincoln County process. Because you're absolutely right. It does add a bit of extra sweetness to it that I just can't really normally wrap my head around. But these age-stated and kind of more craft versions of that, which this I would consider to be one of, are very good. They do this thing very, very well. It's what they do. I get why people like it. People like sweet sells. I understand that. That's fine. Personally, I prefer either Irish whiskey or Scotch. In general, bourbon's all right. I don't mind bourbon, but again, I don't like sweet stuff for real. And that
right,
the
you're a savory guy, not a sweet guy.
Right, and so I prefer really old world whiskeys, to be honest, for the most part, or port finished whiskeys. It tends to be where I lean, just in general. But it's exceptional. It is delicious.
Mel, what do you think of the whiskey?
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a big punch of flavor. I do like the Tennessee process, which is odd because I'm not normally one for sweet drinks, but the sweetest I like a drink is Jack Daniels.
Yeah, you've always been a Jack girl.
Yeah, that's
as long as I know you've liked Jack.
I think that was the official drink of all Gen Xers in the 90s was Jack and Coke was always the go-to. And I can drink it. I enjoy it. I like it now that it's in an actual can. And
the Jack and
that we had last week. Yeah,
Jack and Coke, not Jack and Cola. The Jack and Coke.
It's great, and I'm unapologetic about it. And so, yeah. And when you were talking about, it was fascinating about the pay-to-play commentary. Like any opinion-based competition doesn't have politics and preferences.
I'd love for people to get involved with us. Like, and you know what? We're paid to play now too.
That's from every facet of every opinion-based competition.
Right.
Come on.
It's going to have an effect. And the other thing, obviously, we're going to do the whiskey show later in the summer and all that fun stuff. But I've already made my opinions voiced on the couple of higher priced points that I felt just didn't need to be on this list, especially because they weren't readily available. So
we have those complaints every time, though,
Right.
because this list has kind of gotten away from the Whiskey Advocate to an extent.
But outside of those three, the list nailed it this year.
Yeah.
It really did. It really,
Last year's
really
list
did.
pissed me off.
Yeah.
There was a couple whiskeys that were very difficult to find. And then they did a unicorn one release as number 1 2 years ago. It's that Larceny.
Yeah.
I was pissed about that, too.
The Larceny, and then you, like, last year, fucking Old Fitz. It's like, it's a fucking unicorn
What are you doing?
bottle.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, and this year, I mean, obviously with the, with, of course, the what's a funker, the Middleton and the Nika peated, which you couldn't even get in most markets in the United
It is
States.
like in 3 markets or something we found out.
Texas. I had to go to fucking Texas. I had somebody find that for me in fucking Texas. Like, I was talking with an account in DC who they get their hands on shit. And they know I do the list, and we were talking about it when I saw them this last Thursday. And I was like, yeah, I finished the whole list. And they were like, how in the fuck did you get the Middletons and the Nika? I was like, I had a friend in Texas who got it for us.
Right.
And they were like, fuck yeah, man. Like, really? and honestly, because there's a good chance that even if you win the league and somebody comes in second, they can take a bottle. I need to make sure I take a sample of each of those into minis, because those guys were like, I just want to try it. Like I'm never going to get a chance to try that one. And it's like, yeah, I should probably make that one available. And then also to our vendor friends who help us complete this list, I'm going to tell them, I'm be like, look, those bottles aren't going to make it through the party. So if you want to try some of those, you got to come down for them.
For like Justin, Christian, Ben.
Yep.
For those guys.
Mike and Doc over at Drug City and Larry up at Bel Air, like all those guys. Like, I'm going to be like, you got to. If you want to try them, you got to come down and try them, or otherwise, no.
Right, yeah.
Because I guarantee, like, I mean, as guessing already with friends of ours, like, that Middleton bottle's the one that's going to walk, because it's so easy to drink. It's so fucking easy to drink. So even if you're not a whiskey fan, that bottle's going to walk.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can understand that the Nika might stick around because
it's peated and all that. Yeah,
it's big. It's a lot going on, but you know, it's Mel in a Japanese whiskey. It's a lot going on over here.
You know what I think we should do, actually, before we start gin, is next week.
You know how long I've been waiting for gin every week? Sammy, is it gin week yet? Hey,
I know we're
is
getting
it
gin week's going to be short this year. It's only 4 weeks left.
It's May.
All right, so never mind.
May.
But I'm thinking we might do an extra show in there, because between Simon, Alan, and Jay all going over to England, I think we might need to do a
get them on a
separate
Zoom
show
and do something. Yeah,
fuck those
that'd be
3
a fun
fuckers.
bonus
Put them in
show.
the fucking studio. Give them mics.
yeah. As long as they,
Yeah, so there's an extra gin show.
Okay, good. So next week, what I think we should do,
And
is,
Jay brought us
Son of a
gin
bitch.
back from
did he?
a duty free Hendrix.
Going to the duty free shop.
So your idea next week?
Is we pick our favorite whiskey and just drink that from the list. Which one that we liked the most ourselves, and maybe so I have a glass of whatever I liked, and you have a glass of whatever you liked, and revisit one. Or we could do that for like the final show of the season. Up to you.
Final show of the season, gin.
No, I'm ready for gin. I'm ready to start the gin binge.
So,
Because isn't that what the whiskey show is? We revisit what we like
well,
and we
that's
talk
true.
about
Yeah.
it. So
All right. So
bring it on.
do you want the next week then the new Hendrix?
Uh-huh.
The Flora Adora.
Oh.
I saw that. Yes. Hendrick's New
Yes.
Flora Adora.
I will make sure that I have that with
Don't
me.
you have a pink tonic in the refrigerator?
Let's figure out exactly the flavors that are coming off that one,
Nice.
because that's one of those things. Gin and tonics, you got to curate it, man.
do you
It's
remember
a
the
little-
Do you remember the
little work
Midsummer
goes into it.
Solstice?
Yes.
It's
Loved
that,
it.
but more intense.
Ooh.
So it's very floral. Yeah.
Ooh.
Very like potpourri-y. Does that make sense? It's good though. It's not like potpourri. I say
I
it's like
know.
it's very floral. It's very
yeah.
floral. It's not as vegetal as the Amazonia.
Right.
That was like
I
almost
love
undrinkable.
that.
I couldn't
like-
stand that one.
Yeah.
And I
See, I
like
like-
vegetal martinis.
Really?
Yeah, I like vegetal martinis. Like I like a rosemary martini, but I couldn't drink that one. It was tough to get down that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like.
It was like I was biting a handful of grass.
Hey, Christian just checked in.
Yeah.
He missed the first 15 minutes. Can you start over?
Let's have a good show, kids.
Me like Jack. Me like Jack. Call show.
Yeah.
There you go, Christian. You're caught up.
All right. What a fucking crazy weekend, man.
Wild stuff.
We open with matches. One match played on Saturday and the final match on Sunday. And they both had the exact same scoreline, Mr.
Yes.
Graham. Couple of touchdowns scored. Crystal Palace 4, West Ham 3, Liverpool 4, Tottenham 3. Starting off with Crystal Palace and West Ham. Palace go down immediately, and we'll talk about the cause and effect of why they went down quickly. Only to see them score 3 goals in 30 minutes and go up 3-1 on West Ham.
Yeah, it was crazy. Palace started wonderfully,
Yeah.
but Souček, finally, where's he been all season?
In those first 30 minutes, it's 3-1. And all I could think, and I told you this when we were talking offline, it was like defense,
Yeah.
kinda.
I mean, these teams for the longest part of the season couldn't buy a fucking goal.
It just they were like, please, by all means, score.
And I just noticed that I did some of my notes kind of drunk. And my opening paragraph of this doesn't make no damn sense.
Well, then I want to go right to the next
Well,
next point.
Elise had the poor defensive header, which gave Souček the chance.
That's okay. He'll just take a ball off of Souček's foot later and score a goal because of it.
I'm assuming this is Jordan Ayew got the equalizer pretty
Yep.
quickly after that, though.
Very quickly.
I wrote Ayer.
I think
who
it might
plays
have
for a
been-
different team.
I think it might have been Ezzy who took the ball off of Souček's foot for the
Could
third
be,
goal.
yeah.
It was either Ezzy or Olise. I'm not positive though.
Good football for the most part. For Ayew down the pitch, and a decent finish. There's a space there. Jesus Christ. The Zaha finish was excellent as well. Jeffrey Schlupp took care of the rest of it to go 3-1 up.
That was it. It was Olise who stole the ball from Souček off of a massive gaff. I mean, because even like Ayew's goal, like there were 5 guys around the ball. And then they just get off an easy pass. You're just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But Palace's problem is apparently set pieces. They just can't defend them at all.
At all. You're absolutely right.
All 3 West Ham goals
Were set pieces.
Set pieces.
Yeah.
It's like you're Palace and you completely dominate a match. And you just fuck off 3 set pieces and find yourself like in a struggle. And here's the funny part. Palace deserved to win this game. They were the better side. But it took the softest fucking penalty
That was
ever
pretty piss
to
poor.
win.
Now, he did have himself a great game, though. He did have himself
He's
an
been
excellent
fantastic.
game.
He's
Yeah.
been absolutely fantastic as of late. But it just
Yeah.
he stuck out his arm. It wasn't a grab. It wasn't any. It was just like, oh, I feel a hand on my belly. Let me fall down and roll around. It was just terrible.
Yeah, but it was a good. The penalty that was taken was an excellent penalty, and obviously won them the game. So fair play to them. I mean, Palace are safe now officially. I think. I don't think there's any question about that. West Ham should be safe, but
They ain't.
they're not yet. Not mathematically.
And
and they've got a possible European trophy on the horizon.
Well, and also, don't look now. Who do they play this week? United and City.
Yeah, exactly.
United and City. They
play
both the Manchester clubs.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Do and like I was telling you before, it's like, okay, so they got this, kind of like 4-point lead on the final relegation team. But you can't fuck it off twice. What do they have this week? The ability to fuck it off twice.
Right. Oh, yeah. Big time.
Right there in front of them.
But they won't. More on that later.
Oh, that's some foreshadowing to some betting, huh?
Foreshadowing, baby. I told you I was going to do the opposite of you.
I was going to say
With what you do for Liverpool.
Somebody's got some wishful thinking is exactly what's going on there. Moving on to Liverpool and Tottenham. Liverpool pull at Newcastle and score 3 goals in the first fucking 15 minutes.
But they failed to complete the Newcastle performance
Because
they completely took their foot off the gas.
I was going to say, the very next thing I write is, after that, all Spurs. All Spurs.
Yeah,
I mean,
so Liverpool had a few chances here and there, but
Spurs
Forster
put
got
him off the fucking post.
Forster got his head out of his ass.
Yeah.
Which was important for Tottenham. But that little flurry at the end of the first half gave them all the momentum they needed for the second half.
Well, the key thing, and this is very important, we need to take a moment of silence for the Dutch tulip. Because clearly his ankles were broken
bad.
by
That was bad.
Perisic, who just took him one way, took him the other way, and Big Van Dyke fall down, go boom as his ankles are being...
The screenshot that's on DUFC at the moment, that's the closed Facebook group for those that don't know, Drunkard United FC. Find it on Facebook. That's where all the hashtag bans happen. The screen grab of him looks like a chalk outline from an animated, like a Bugs Bunny... like cartoon. You know how they used to do it's always with the leg up in the wrong direction, one of these numbers? That's what his body looked like in that particular position.
I just want to know when the international war crimes are going to be held against Perisic.
That was bad.
For the ankle breaking that he
horrible.
did. I mean, that's
Jesus.
worse than Pickford, and Pickford was trying to do it intentionally.
Yeah. But I mean, the game's awesome, but we're really here, and we would be remiss if we didn't just skip forward at this point.
Hey, everybody. Tottenham scores a couple, and then we get to
the end.
The end. Which, by the way, Mr. Graham, I could just tell
it's
the
brilliant.
glee in your face. Take it away.
You know what? The Arsenal may have very well lost the title at Manchester City last Wednesday. But you know what an excellent consolation prize is besides Champions League football? Mm-hmm. This. This is fantastic. So, Richarlison scores.
Now, do understand why he got a little zealous. He's at Anfield.
Of course.
He's a former Evertonian.
Yeah. That doesn't explain why he did it the first time this season. That was chalked off for offside, though. Right. But, yes, okay, I take that point.
This all
He's
makes
shushing
sense.
the crowd. Yeah, so he
ripped off his shirt.
Scores a goal, rips his shirt off. Boom. Now you've got more yellow cards for ripping your shirt off after goals than you actually do goals. Because that was the second time. The third goal that he had scored also ruled out.
In all fairness, he also had more yellow cards for celebrating goals than goals the first time because he hadn't scored a goal yet.
Fair enough.
One yellow card.
But so that still rings true. So he takes it off. He almost took out a Stewart as he runs to the Tottenham supporters and jumps on the advertising hoardings. He grabs a Stewart by the scruff of his neck to hold his own balance, which I thought was quite rude because that guy looked a little older. So I don't know what he was doing there. Then he does the chicken walk with
Son.
With Son.
No, not the chicken walk. It's the pigeon walk because everybody called him a pigeon.
Because of his nose?
Because he looks like a pigeon. So he does that dance in celebration because
got it.
People who fuck with him.
That was brilliant because somebody put him on top of the ball and made him part of the Tottenham badge.
It makes perfect
which is
sense.
Fucking hysterical.
You know what? You deserve that.
Yeah, he does deserve that. He also deserves the ridicule he gets for having one of his teammates tattooed on his body, and Neymar's not happy about it. Do you know this?
Oh, yeah,
so on his
I know
back,
about this one.
If you were wondering what the faces were, it's Pele, original Ronaldo, and Neymar. And
That is
Neymar,
so creepy.
super cringe.
I mean, are we ever going to talk about the tattoo you have of Houston?
I don't have a Houston tattoo.
Oh, that's not what Carly told me.
It's like Roy Orbison from Waterboy.
Yeah.
When Winkle had it on his ass. And Henry Winkle's his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Winkler.
Yeah.
The Fonz. The
Fonz. I'm not very good at remembering actors' real names. If you couldn't tell. Anyway, yeah.
Movie references, song references, all of it. It all eludes Mr. Graham. It all does.
Well, I'd named one that Mel couldn't remember earlier, which was nice. Made me feel good. So that happens, right? And all of the shit surrounding that is funny in and of itself. That equalized 3-3. Then.
There's still time in the game.
Oh, there's still time. Not long, but still time. They didn't need very long, did they? Only took about 38 seconds. Liverpool marched down the pitch, and Diogo Jota slots into the far corner. Anfield goes nuts. Absolute nuts. Richarlison's just standing on the halfway line smiling. Maybe you should have defended, you cunt. Helped your team out instead of trying to bask in your glory of your one Premier League goal this season. Then, even better, Jurgen Klopp decides, upon Jota scoring, to turn and run at the fourth official and celebrate in his face with
yelled in his face
with what looked like Chevy Chase's old SNL Wild and Crazy Guys from back in the day.
Correction, not Chevy Chase. That would be Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd.
Damn it! I thought I had a good reference there.
Looking for some swinging chicks.
Yeah, so what is the show title? He Chevy chased it, except didn't.
Wild and Crazy Guys is definitely the
Wild
show
and
title.
Crazy Guys. Yeah, and so he does this, but upon trying to stop while he was running, he did his hamstring.
Yep.
Because you're old. Stop doing that dumb shit.
Mel, I only saw the article that you sent us about him. He was...
I'll tell you why. That article, because they did a number on it here. Jurgen Klopp, as he's been known to do, does some dumb shit on the sidelines that he shouldn't be doing. He's a naughty boy. We all know that. But he's very quick to apologize. And he is quite charismatic in interviews and stuff. So people usually forgive him for the shit that he does, right?
His big gleaming teeth.
So he knows that he'll probably get in trouble for celebrating in the fourth official's face, right?
So
what he said was...
we did run into the center of the pitch and hug our fucking keeper in the middle of a...
So he apologized.
Sorry, the end of a match.
He apologized in his post-match and said, I've already been punished for this because I did my hamstring. No, you didn't.
My favorite line, little sins immediately. That might be a show title. Little
that
sins
fucker.
Immediately.
I still can't get over the Van Dyke Pickford little arms on the fuck where he ran out onto the pitch in the center circle and hugged fucking Allison.
Yeah.
And nothing came of it. And then 2 games later, Nuno runs into the corner, the very fucking corner of the fucking pitch, and gets suspended for a match for fucking leaving the coach's box and entering the field. But
I don't think Arteta's past the first 30 seconds of a game. I don't think Arteta's touched the coach's box this season.
No, oh no, he's walking around it the entire time. No, he's in a coach's box. The opposing team's coach's box. That's where he is the entire fucking game.
But you could not, as a neutral in this game and as a Spurs hater, so for Liverpool to win it helped. That really accentuates how fun this is for me, by the way. That puts the exclamation point on it. But for somebody that doesn't particularly care for Liverpool either, because they normally challenge us for trophies and all that kind of shit, I don't mind Liverpool. Honestly, if I had a second team, because of some of the tragedy in their history and stuff, I do quite like Liverpool. I don't mind them.
You can leave now.
That's it. I'm confessing my deep, dark secret.
Liverpool's
What's
your
that?
second team?
No, I almost picked Spurs.
No, you can fuck right off. That last brain cell just finished its cigarette and it's snuffing out. It seems. So this whole final 90 seconds was the stuff of dreams for me, and completely distracts from the fact that we gave away the title last week.
The beauty in all of that is for you as an Arsenal supporter, and I want to, again, I've said this multiple times, and you've said it as well. You take Liverpool's side to fuck with me. I take Spurs' side to fuck with you. It's just kind of inexcusable. Like, I'm sitting here and I want to fucking hate on my rivals, and I want to build up your rivals to fuck with you. And then you see all of this and you go,
Well, but that's the thing.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? It's fucking funny.
No, it's brilliant.
It's
fucking
funny.
brilliant. I mean, this is Newcastle supporter willy-coptering at the top of the stand that one time in the FA Cup when they finally made it past the third round for the first time in 15 years. Remember a few years ago when he got his Johnson out and started willy-coptering?
Yep.
This is that stuff. I mean, this is the stuff of dreams. That stuff is what put the show on the map in the first place. Is that kind of shit.
Wait, we're on a map?
With 7 stops. Regularly.
We turn our attention to the race for Europe, which will include the Liverpool match as well, as the teams seem to shuffling every single week. Brighton 6, Wolverhampton 0, Man United 1, Villa 0, Newcastle 3, Southampton 1. Apparently De Zerbi decided to make a few changes, including Matoma, fucking McAllister, and I forgot who the other. Oh, Concedo.
He's played a fucking masterclass here, De Zerbi, in my opinion.
And did it work?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time. I mean, they were dominant throughout the entire performance. They're completely dominant throughout the entire thing.
I mean, it took
What are you pulling
no.
Malort out for?
Her ass, she lost.
Oh, that's right.
It's been so long.
It's
been-
Nights.
De Zerbi played a masterclass here. They lost, obviously, midweek. We spoke about on the Thursday show. They lost midweek to Forest, which was terribly unfortunate for them. I should have seen it coming. I thought Forest were going to be shitter than they were, but obviously playing for their lives at that point in time helped. And Brighton were wounded after the cup final. But De Zerbi dropped the right people, and decided that a shakeup was needed, and that I'm not going to stand for this. Your performance here. We still have shit to play for. Get your head out of your ass. And the team immediately responded to it. And they came
3
to
guys
Wolves,
all with braces.
who famously, Wolves don't give up a ton of goals. They don't score a ton, which is why they're in the position they're in.
Right.
They lost a lot of games 1-0 and 2-0 this season.
And
but here, Brighton were just on fucking fire. They couldn't go wrong. Welbs scoring twice, as you said. Pascal Gross, 2 beautiful goals from him.
Yep.
And then Enciso had a couple of assists. So after scoring that winner at Chelsea, he's come close a few times. I think he hit the bar a week ago or so. Here, he was just pulling the strings all over the place. And I forget who the third player was that had a brace, actually, now, off the top of my head. I probably wrote it down, which is why I do notes.
Should probably read your notes.
Undav.
Yeah, that's right, because he has not been starting because Matoma has been starting.
Correct.
And they went more of a 4-4-2 instead of going a 4-3-3, which is what they've been regularly running with the wingers. And the other thing too with Wolves is outside of the Leeds loss at home, they've been really good. This was at the Molineux. They got fucking spanked in their building. Like, you don't...
Oh, yeah.
You don't lose like that in your building. You typically lose like that in other people's building. I mean, even Southampton lost in other people's buildings when they lost twice, 9-0. I'm just saying. Kenny, I'm going to say nice things later. I really am. I really am going to say nice things later.
This is another one he was rooting for. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Keep scoring.
The other piece to this too is what I do worry about for Brighton. Now they have a couple games in hand because of the cup final and the semifinal. But what I worry
They're
about
both tough.
They're both tough games.
It's City and United.
Yep. What I worry about for Brighton though is same thing I worry about for Fulham. Same thing I worry about to an extent for Villa, although they're higher up in the league, so they may be okay. this Liverpool result, the comeback against us as well kind of ignited this. They're now on a run of picking up points.
They're in 5th. They're right there.
But Luis Diaz came back and immediately had an impact and scored.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a fantastic finish. That finish. Fraser Forster, ball was in the back of the net before he lifted his arm.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah.
They're getting healthy at the right time, Liverpool, apart from their manager, who did a hammy celebrating in the official's face. Not sure you understand how funny that is. But
and it was against Tottenham, so you just want to make fun of Richarlison. You want to just make fun of Richarlison.
The whole thing was brilliant.
No.
I couldn't believe me luck.
Jurgen gonna Jurgen, man. He's gonna Jurgen.
I could not believe my luck with everything that was happening. It was so good. He couldn't even slap his chest too hard because he was afraid of jarring his hamstring. You see him holding his hamstring, and the coach comes over and like grabs his shoulder, and he goes, this little weak thing. Oh, it's brilliant. Anyway, that's what worries me for Brighton, for Fulham, for those teams chasing those Europa League spots, right? Because now Spurs are quite bad, but should they figure it out, there's a lot of positives for Spurs to take from that game. So this is going to get very jumbled up very quickly for the last Europa League spot and the probability of the
McRib.
Well, it should be 2 Europa League spots and 1 McRib spot,
Right,
because of
everybody's
City
doing
more
what
than
they're
likely
supposed to
going to
do.
be winning the FA Cup.
Or United, which doesn't matter because they're both in the
They're
Champions
both in
League.
Champions League. Yeah. So there's going to be that extra spot available, which does help everyone a bit because
United already won the League Cup,
Right.
which makes that available as well.
But it's becoming very jumbled up there. Now, as usual, you'd rather have the points of the board than the game in hand, especially when you're playing, as you say, United and City. So Liverpool maybe getting healthy and finding their form a bit is what's going to worry me for Brighton and getting over the final hump at the end of the season here to secure European football for the first time in their history.
I think Liverpool's going to figure out a way to be 5th or 6th. I think that's going to happen. And that they're going to be in Europe, which is honestly, financially, that's all they need. They just need to be in Europe. Because if they weren't in Europe, like the case of Chelsea, it's massive.
It doesn't matter when you're playing with Monopoly money, though.
That financial hit from financial fair play doesn't help you. It's going to really come down to, I think Fulham and Brentford are out of it completely. I don't think they have a chance at sneaking their way in. It's going to be, is it Brighton, Tottenham, or Villa for the last 2 spots? And that's what I think it ultimately comes down to.
Right.
Moving on to United and Villa. This was actually, for a 1-0 match,
It was a decent game.
It was a great fucking game. And United did exactly what they needed to do. Get the fucking win, walk away, and be good with it. Villa gave them everything they fucking could, man. They had good chances. They put balls off the post. They had balls cleared off the line. And credit to Villa for walking into Trafford and not being fucking scared. They gave them everything they fucking could.
The other thing I do want to say is a few pundits I was listening to. One was a United supporter, one was a Brighton supporter, and everyone in the room at that point was kind of making fun of the Liverpool-Tottenham situation.
Cool. So what did Jules have to say for Brighton?
So when Liverpool, somebody was being interviewed at the end of the game, after Jurgen Klopp celebrated in the face of a 4th official, and then tore his hamstring.
Right.
This is also after Richarlison scored a goal.
Yes.
I can't stop saying it. And basically, somebody in the interview said something to the effect of, these are the games you want to be part of as a professional. Like, this is the atmosphere. Like, this was fun. Like, this is obviously you could say that when you've won the 3 points, right?
Right.
And then Jules said said something to the effect of, I mean, wouldn't you want an easy day at the office and just win 6-0? And then Vish was like, or just grind out a 1-0 win.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be a lot easier than
it would be a lot
that
easier.
emotional fucking roller coaster? And watching your 62-year-old coach do his hamstring, celebrating in the face of the 4th official like a fucking petulant child.
Right, because he just needed to yell in that ref's face because,
Oh, it's brilliant.
And I think it was fucking Tyranny reffing that match. You know, you've never played the game, so you don't know what you're doing.
Well, I don't disagree with that. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a cunt. But what I did find out in all this, the PGMOL came out and said that all conversations are like the mics, the referee's microphones, pick all that shit up, and it's all recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So Klopp said that he was said the ref was unprofessional towards him or whatever. The PGMOL listened to it, and they were perfectly happy with whatever the ref was saying to him. So I don't know if there was something lost in translation, but Klopp is one of the ones whose English is very good. So I don't know if he didn't hear him well or he just misheard him because it was so. Anfield was rocking at that point, so he may have misheard him or something, whatever. But still, you don't act like that, and it's funny, and I'm going to keep bringing it up.
And what's going to happen to him?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But yeah, no, it was a shame because this game was actually very good. De Gea was excellent. Martinez was excellent.
Embarrassed by everything, ashamed by nothing.
It was good, and both coaches came out unscathed in this game too, which was nice.
For United Champions League, I would say honestly, I think the 4 spots for Champions League are decided. I think it's now a battle for Europa, McRib, and the person that the club that's going to miss out.
Yeah, the one that misses out.
There's 3 spots left. None of them are Champions League. And as we lead into Newcastle and Southampton, I think Newcastle is very secure, and I think United is very secure. Yeah. And obviously, Arsenal and City are secure.
Yeah,
and
we're already guaranteed, the two of us.
They're like Liverpool is not playing in the Champions League next year.
No,
they're not.
I don't see a way for them to be as well. I completely agree with that.
Tottenham will not figure it out, and for Villa and Brighton, the idea is just to get to Europe. It doesn't matter what fucking Europe it is.
Well, Villa specifically, it needs to be the Europa League.
Oh, because he wins Europa League.
That's what he wins.
A lot.
That's what he wins. He's won it 4 times in his history.
Well, I mean, it's Graham. It's okay. Villa's actually won Europe. How many European titles have Arsenal won?
We were in 2 finals, and Emery took us to that final. So how unlucky can we be that we got to the final of his competition?
And how many of those have you won?
0.
Okay, very good. I mean, Mel has 2. I have 1. You have
what do you have?
We have 1.
What?
In 85, before the European Tournament of Champions, we won that one.
What's that?
It doesn't exist anymore, but it's a European fucking thing. You know what?
The European Tournament of Champions. That sounds like a fucking.
The trophy falls in the forest. Did it ever exist?
Yeah, that sounds
it was
like
more important than the fucking McRib because it was people who actually won their league, and we would have been in what is now the Champions League if it wasn't for a bunch of fucking assholes across the park from us starting a riot in fucking Madrid and banning all English teams from European play.
Ooh, that's a dig.
This sounds like did Shankly do his hamstring?
It's one more European title than you have, asshole.
Here we go. All right. I don't care what you did around Circle World War One. Okay.
Hey Mel, before we get into
what kind of
Newcastle,
Audi Cup? It's like Tottenham releasing the Audi Cup DVD last year.
Before we get into Newcastle and Southampton, you have something to do.
Damn it! I was hoping you guys forgot.
No, definitely didn't forget.
I just casually put it over here out of camera.
Also, just before you do that, what did you think about your team's performance? I didn't think y'all played bad. I just thought it was unlucky, and I hated the fucking smug face that Bruno Fernandes put on when he scored too. Mm-hmm. It's like you're the biggest cunt on that team.
I
liked his fantasy
no
points.
thoughts because while the game was going on, I was being filmed doing the Barrel of Blooms.
Okay, I thought that was going in a very dark place.
No, I was on camera. I was doing the basket downtown, the big barrel, and so I caught the first 20 minutes, and we looked good. I was optimistic. Got a couple updates, and that was about it until the end. And when I saw we lost, I didn't watch any highlights. But hey, nevertheless, up the Villa. McRib. Oh, Europe. Here we come.
So, as stated earlier, I was at the Abbey.
All right.
I was at the Abbey in Mount Vernon with the national meetup for Newcastle United.
Yes.
Big, huge crowd. Having a little trouble over there, Mel?
I came
Camera's
back.
off me, so no.
I mean, she didn't just completely bury her face in her
Came
shirt.
back and got her.
The camera is not on me. I'm fine.
Yeah. It was nothing to see here. You looky loose.
Yeah.
But the great turnout for the match with everybody. The mostly Midwest. Nobody from the West Coast came.
Well, you know what happened is with them announcing that Premier League thing coming up and down the East Coast,
exactly what I was about to say.
which I guess could count as an American trophy if you're being like you and just counting whatever old fucking thing you know, McDonald's commemorative cup you pick up on the way.
It was an official fucking trophy recognized by fucking Europe.
Never heard of it before in my life. And a lot of them canceled coming to this because of
Right.
they got to do it in
They're
2
all
months.
going to Philly in 2
anyway,
months.
Yeah. So rather than spend all that money to make it all that way, however, you sent pictures there, and it looked like it was packed.
Packed.
That's great.
Packed. And
Saudi
everybody-
money will do that.
Cool fucking people. cool fucking people, man. Had a great time hanging out with everybody. And I wore my long sleeve DU shirt that you can get on our exclusive Drip Shack. Please check all of our socials. It's linked right at the top.
Sure it is.
And I was wearing that, so I was in black and white to go ahead with the rest of them. Although I would say our boy Rob, the Beard, and then Rob was there as well, but the Beard made a really good comment, said it looked like a prison cafeteria.
Yeah, he did. That's funny. Did he go up there with you?
No. He just
Just
sent
on
the message.
Facebook? Yeah,
He
yeah.
just sent the message.
That's funny.
What's funny is for Southampton, they get the lead right at the end of the first half, despite the fact that possession, everything is dominated by Newcastle.
I got so this. There's a couple of stats I got to tell you about. And I can't remember the other team off the top of my head. But this Newcastle game was about as one-sided. No, I know, but it was about as one-sided as it could have been until that late flurry in the second half, where they ended up finally. Newcastle was 63.4 and 36.6. I looked at it at one point and it was like 78-22.
Yeah.
It was all Newcastle. They just couldn't do anything. But yeah, now Stuart Armstrong got that first goal, and that was even fortunate. That bundled over the line with his knee.
Yep. Do you know why Newcastle couldn't score any goals in the first half?
Why?
2 words. Anthony Gordon. Thank you for the 40 million. I was definitely, I brought it up. People asked me, they're like, so your thoughts on Anthony Gordon? I was like, honestly, thanks for the money. And they're like, why? He's a great young talent. I'm like, yeah, but he normally takes one dribble too many. It's like, he scored 7 goals.
Get it through his fucking head.
He scored 7 goals for us. 5 of them were deflections.
Here's the thing.
And then he misses a wide open 1-on-1. He puts one off the side of the net, and every time he's missing, everybody's just looking at me, and I was like,
Thank you.
I'm just telling you the struggle is real, man. Like, and they're like, get him off the pitch. I'm like, you don't say.
Here's the thing. Here's what you need to know about him, right? They're 2 starting wingers, ASM and Almiron are both injured, right?
Almiron did come on later on.
Came on later on, but he's just recently coming back from injury, but he was out for like 6 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that. Both of those guys have been injured, and you've been starting Jacob Murphy. And you moved Joe Linton from the middle of the pitch and brought in Longstaff instead to partner Willock. So Anthony Gordon, a winger, was not brought on to play the wing. You readjusted your starting lineup and your formation based on not including Anthony Gordon until this week.
Right.
That's got to say so. That's got to tell you something.
Huh? Again,
That's the point.
thanks.
It's a legitimate point. It's not very funny, but that's the point. So that has to give you an indication as to where he is in the pecking order and why you saw what you saw.
Now we'll say, and we'll wrap this up and move on to the next segment with Newcastle. The entire time you're watching this match, it's like, why are they behind? The goal's coming. And the minute the first goal came, It was then immediately 2-1 and then immediately 3-1. And you were like, oh, okay, there it is. Order has been
here's
kind
the
of
thing
restored.
with Newcastle, right? It's like, it's kind of what Arsenal did all season for the most part when they finally started going on that run. They have all this pent-up energy from being a banter club for the last 12 years. And they're just fucking smacking teams with the head of their dick now. They're just like, oh, you made fun of us. Remember that?
Fuck
Pow.
you.
Fucking Dolph. Dick on forehead. I'm Dolphing you. Boom. Mushroom stamp. Wow. There it is. Like, that's just what's happening now. And it's like Arsenal, same thing. We've been a laughing stock for the last 7-8 years. And, now we're obviously... people are laughing at us again because we're stumbling at the final hurdle. But we spent most of the season just fucking, take that. Boom, bitch. Right on the forehead. Enjoy that.
Again, dare I say, thanks for the $40 million. All right, we've been rambling, so let's get this done quickly. Rounding out the rest of the league, well, the last game, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Manchester City 2, Fulham 1, Brentford 2, Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 4, Leeds 1, Everton 2, Leicester 2. City moved to the top of the league, but not. Fulham certainly didn't make it easy. Fulham played their asses off.
I think if Mitro was there, this was a draw.
Yeah.
Honestly, Fulham missed a ton of chances. City were uncharacteristically sloppy at times as well.
Yeah.
And Fulham capitalized. I mean, they really didn't obviously score enough goals, but they put themselves in the right positions. They were all there for it. I mean, it was an excellent game. I was actually quite surprised.
What I do fear for Fulham is that Tim Ream and
Broken
Pereira
wrist, looks like.
Pereira both go off on stretchers.
That's
like
tough.
that is.
Yeah.
And that's your spine. Those guys have been playing a lot of the season
And playing
right
excellent
up,
as well.
Really up that is.
Yeah. Tim Ream, I think, is out for the rest of the season with a broken wrist.
Yeah.
I think he's done.
They're safe. They're going to be safe.
I don't know about Pereira.
But for them, they are playing for something. They're ahead of Chelsea right now in the standings, and Brentford's only a point ahead of them. Like they want to beat their two crosstown rivals. They would love to. They're already safe, which is a huge win for them, considering they just got promoted.
Oh, yeah, big time.
All of that's great, but now you're at the point where, as a supporter, you're like, yeah, I mean, you're fucking telling me we could finish above Chelsea and Brentford in the fucking table? Yeah, you're rooting for that, but missing those pieces, it's going to be a tough ask the rest of the way.
It's going to be
really
huge.
will be.
Yeah, it absolutely is huge. I was quite happy with Tete and Jack Grealish's little spat.
A fuckboy gonna be a fuckboy, man.
Yeah, and here's how you know, right? And tune into the Patreon, to the sound check for the full conversation. But here's how you know is a beta posing as an alpha. Because he got up, got real hard for about 12 seconds, and was the first one to walk away. Jack Grealish is a punk ass.
All right, moving on to
And I'm sure Lindsay's one of the sweetest people we know. But I'm sure if faced with some sort of adverse situation, Brummy gonna Brummy.
Right.
And I think she fucking ripped someone's head off if she
Right.
needed to. You know what I mean?
If you gotta.
But that's it, right? We're some of the nicest people ever. When you get your 1,000-yard stare, you could put somebody 6 feet in the ground, right? And I do
It's
like
always the quiet, nice ones.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's I mean, how many times I do it at soccer and fucking put my head through somebody?
Yep.
Like you just okay, motherfucker.
Oh, this is how we're doing it?
You want to bring it this way? You fucking go Super Saiyan right now.
Don't hate on Jack. It's perfectly fine. He likes to be led around on a leash.
He didn't do the fucking math in his head when he stepped up to Tete. I promise you that.
Wear two left-footed slides on each foot. It don't matter. We'll be all right.
I got shoes on, don't I?
Calves aren't going to help him in that fight.
Dingus. Absolute dingus.
Forest do everything right in the first half. They're playing great defense. They're holding off Brentford, and they get that goal from Danilo right at the end of the half. only to see it just slip away at the death. And you gotta kind of feel like they're the kind of team, like at this moment and where we are with the end of the season, this is the shit you gotta see out. At least get a fucking draw.
Well,
Don't fucking lose it.
The Brentford supporters did their homework here, I think. This is as much their win as it is the team's. I think the atmosphere was jumping. And what Forest in recent months, minus the last couple of days out at the City Ground, have made the City Ground a fortress. And they've done it on the backs of their supporters and that raucous atmosphere that they create. Brentford did that for Brentford in this game.
Yeah.
And completely drowned out the Forest fans. And I think it really did give the boys a lift. And they went out and took it to them. I mean, Forrest did very well to compete throughout the game. Absolutely.
Right.
And David Raya.
Yeah.
Did very well a few times in this game as well to make sure Forrest stayed out. Actually, I thought in the Bournemouth game, which we're going to talk about, I thought it was akin to Neto's performance, who he had to be on his head as well.
He had a great
in that
match.
game. It was fantastic. Actually, surprisingly, a very good game all around. But right at the end, obviously, getting it snatched at the death is difficult. And Forrest, you're as good as Tottenham.
Bournemouth and Leeds, like you said, Neto played out of his dome, which makes this scoreline look more formidable. But it's only because he was called on in instances like you've talked about before, where like the really good teams, you like City, it's like Ederson doesn't have to make a lot of saves, but when he has to make them, they're fucking world beats, right?
Yeah.
And this was a game that was very much dominated by the Cherries. And at the Vitality, here as of late, right down the stretch, they're winning games that they need to win. And in this instance, it was like Leeds had a few chances, but in those few chances, Neto came up big. But then
There was a double save that was fucking phenomenal.
yeah, but then outside of that, like for Leeds, you can't give up 4 fucking goals.
No.
Like Meslier is a young, talented keeper. He is making so many monstrous fucking gaffes, and this is costing them goal differential. Like, it's going to come down to goal differential between them and Everton. They're not going to have the goal differential. Everton's going to jump them because of that.
Could be, yeah.
Goal
Absolutely
differential
could be.
is worth 3 fucking points.
Absolutely, 100% it is. 100% it is.
And Leeds this weekend got to play fucking City.
Did they have United as part of their run-in as well? I think they have to play someone else that's very good. I can't remember who it is.
Tough,
Actually,
man.
it makes sense. I am actually going to look it up because that it's so relevant to where they are.
I'll be honest. Part of my show planning notes for next week, Graham, is to talk about what the 4 teams left in the relegation battle, because Southampton's going down, unfortunately.
They have
Southampton's going
City,
down.
Newcastle, West Ham, and Spurs. West Ham have figured out to score goals all of a sudden.
They're going to score.
Newcastle has been fucking, again, dick-slapping teams.
Especially against the defense that gives up bad goals all the time.
Spurs' defense is bad, but they do score a fair amount of goals. So, but in Leeds, so on the same show that I was referencing earlier, I heard Jim Campbell said something to the effect of, you thought they were going to be okay because of the chaos? Because they were absolute chaos merchants, right? That's what they thrived in, was that chaos under Bielsa, to an extent under Marsh. They're not even good at the chaos anymore.
No.
And that's been their identity. So that's a disaster now.
So I'm going to jump ahead on the notes before
and did you see the letter? Oh, there was an open letter from the supporters. The lead supporters. That essentially, this is unacceptable. You will have to make a change. We don't appreciate the way you've been recruiting coaches, because everybody since Bielsa's been shit. Bielsa was good, but not great.
Right.
Like, you have to look at yourselves, and we need something done about Javi Gracia going into these final few games of the season. This is terrible.
Right.
And it just and that should speak fucking volumes to those players. It should speak volumes to that board.
Yeah.
You know, they're not fake putting people in headlocks like your supporters, but at least they're doing something.
Yeah, I don't disagree. That got brought up when I was at the bar on Thursday. Like I said, still no proof. Still no proof.
That's fine. She's a woman. She's probably lying.
Oh my God. Sattery.
Misogyny theater.
If they don't get it by now, they can fuck off.
So before we get to Everton Leicester, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, jump ahead in the notes and go to this. This week, who do we think is going down before we get to Everton Leicester?
I think Leeds will probably go down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't foresee them winning another game this season.
Yeah.
And 3 of those teams could do them for 3 or more.
Yeah.
Each one of them.
Yeah.
So that's bad. Then I would probably say Southampton's pretty much confirmed after their game in my opinion. I think they have to win out.
Yeah.
And I don't think they will.
So that leaves you with Forest, Everton, and Leicester.
I can't see Leicester doing it.
Yeah.
And I think Forest has enough about them, but I can't.
Yeah.
And it pains me because Leicester, have been fun. They've been a fun addition to the Premier League, especially that great escape they had, and then winning the league, obviously,
Right, of course.
But mostly Jamie Vardy's antics. But it's been excellent from having them in the league these last few years. And I'm afraid that it may be coming to a close because defensively they are fucking trash.
So for me,
Their one saving grace is they can score goals, but can they keep a clean sheet these last couple games?
Yeah.
Can at all? Because if they're off at any means up front, it's a minimum of 1-0 loss.
Mm-hmm.
You can't always bank that you're going to score unless you're City or Arsenal or these teams at the top of the table all of a sudden. You can't bank on the fact that you're going to score a goal because this season has proven that they fucking can't.
So for me,
week in, week out, that is.
So for me, I want to put in a disclaimer right off the bat is that, like, I'm gutted for Kenny that fucking Southampton are going down because that's a friend of ours. It's a listener of the show. It's someone we know, and I feel fucking gutted for him that he's going down.
Absolutely.
But they're going down.
Yeah.
From there, I then look at the remaining clubs, and for me, I think Leicester survives. And the reason why I think Leicester survives is their goal differential is so significantly better than the other 3 clubs. And they got the point that they needed today. They did. That was a big point, and we're going to get to that game in a moment. Then all things being equal, honestly, I'd like to see, I'd love to see Everton stay up naturally because they're my club. That's who I want to see stay up. I'm thinking about it like on a friend level, right? Like on a friend level, I'd rather it be Leicester and Forest because, Mark was a great guest, did a good show, all of that. But, I got no real attachment to fucking Forest. Mark does our show every year for Leicester, but let's face it, no Leicester fans are really listening to the show. And if you are, fucking sound off. But I ain't never fucking heard from any of you. So I want Leeds to stay up. I very much want Leeds.
Yeah, we do have a nice Leeds contingent.
Well, and I fucking I love Geckel.
It's also fun fucking with Leeds.
And I love Lars. Like, Lars is a brother to me. I fucking adore that guy.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to see is them go down. The rate they're going, Leeds is fucking going down.
Yeah.
Leeds is going down. Their goal differential is not good. Their run in the rest of the season is not good. And there's at least, you look at Everton's last 4 and there's points there. There's at least a couple of points, a couple of draws. And honestly, that's all it'll take. And for Leeds,
the only game I
see a win
see
for Leeds, and I see Leeds losing 10 goals in differential.
And what I've just looked at in that table, I'm worried, big time worried for the West Ham is the only chance they have to pick up points.
Yeah. I mean,
Really?
they're in a lot of fucking trouble. A lot of fucking trouble. And I want them to stay up.
Yeah, it is a shame for them. What I mean, they are also easy to fuck with too, which is good for the show.
Now
we don't have to work as hard writing jokes.
Now we're going to go back to the games. When there is the expression that's been used a lot in the Premier League, when people say sometimes the relegation battle is more interesting and more entertaining to watch than the title race, this game today is exactly the fucking example. This was two teams that went for the fucking win, and they went all out, and they left everything on the pitch. This match, and it's not even just my blue fucking tinted glasses, this match was fucking incredible.
Well, both teams were blue, so
it was such a great good one.
Yeah.
Such a great fucking match. I mean, Everton come out early, get the early lead with the Dominic Calvert-Lewin penalty. Then on a set piece, Leicester ties it up. Then Everton have...
By the way, Soyuncu scored on the correct goal.
Yeah, how about that?
That shows how fucking shambolic y'all are, and honestly, you deserve to go down for it.
Assisted by Boutface.
Fucking hell. It's like,
the center backs combined.
We might need a second go out song on injury time. It'll be called, it's by a band called Power Man 5000, and it's called When Worlds Collide. Because fucking hell.
The head's exploding.
Yeah, that marks the end of days. Kiss your loved ones, ladies and gentlemen. Voutface and Soyuncu had a positive offensive, what's the word? I'm having a massive brain fart.
I don't know.
No, it's a very contribution.
Yes. So
wow.
It's not a brain fart. It's a Taylor.
It's not a stroke either, actually.
Little
you
one.
know what it is? It's fucking Soyuncu and Voutface combining for a goal.
What the fuck?
I can't do it.
Combining for a goal, not on their end of the pitch. Then, but here's
Holy
the thing.
fuck.
So after they make it level, Iverson, for the keeper for Leicester, had 5 saves. 4 of them kept the ball out of the net. One of them was Dwight McNeil hits a ball where he's falling the wrong way, throws up his hand, knocks it away. And then here's the crazy one. Ball comes into Calvert-Lewin, who is literally sitting in the middle of, inside the 6, right in the middle of the goal. Doesn't turn his foot right, kicks it right at Iverson, who is to the left of him, right? So all he had to do was turn his foot enough to kick it straight, because he was just net right there. All he had to do was touch it in, but he kicks it at Iverson. The ball comes out. Ball goes the other direction. Boom, boom, boom. Vardy, back of the net. How's your fucking father? Like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
And Jamie Vardy will do that to you.
Then Leicester, right at the end of the first half, get a penalty. Get the fucking rave on, son. Pickford with the save. They show his water bottle with all of the fucking ways that those guys shoot. Madison, 60% down the middle. He did a jump, stayed in the middle, shot it right at him, knocked it down. You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right.
Into the second half. Then, and by the way, before the end of that half, Vardy puts one off the post, right? Into the second half, Vardy has one cleared off the line by Tarkovsky. Then Iwobi scores, and they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then right at the end of the game, Decore has an open shot outside the 18. Ball gets past face at the 6. That's when Iverson saw it. Makes a save to the lower fucking 90s, knocks it off the post, goes wide. I mean, this was two teams that threw
Properly going at it, yeah.
This was a draw isn't good enough. We are going to throw it at you.
It's one of those two. It's one of those games where it feels like both teams should have gotten 3 points.
It was
like, it's not fair that they only get one each because it was that entertaining.
It was a phenomenal match. And as an Everton supporter, I can look across the pitch and go, you guys deserve to win just as much as we deserve
that's
to
what I'm
win.
saying, yeah.
It was a phenomenal match. And that match makes me kind of think right now, because I know the next 2 games for Everton are probably L's at Brighton and home to City. But then I look at the end of the schedule and go, at Wolves with nothing to play for and home to the Cherries. And I'm like,
With nothing to play for, because I feel like they're safe now, too.
we don't need 6 points. We need
2.
1.
Yeah, fair. Probably
1. If Leeds does not beat West Ham, we need
1 point.
1
Yeah.
point,
Because you're level
we'll
on
be,
points, aren't you?
we'll be at that 1 point would make us level on points. And again,
Well, the question's going to be, does Forest get out of it?
3 points equals a fucking.
That's the question is, does Forest get out of it?
And I don't think they will either.
I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like.
Yeah, it just,
But I can't look it up because I'm too focused on what I want to say. Mel, if you'll kindly unmute to help with this hard-hitting analysis that your husband gave real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard him, but he said that Everson had 5 saves, 4 of which kept the ball out of the back of the net. Well, what that 5th save did?
I was right at him. Like, right at him. I'm talking about, like,
The
legit
dictionary
goal
definition
scoring.
of a save is that it kept it out of the back of the net.
Right.
Or it would have been a save. It would have been a goal.
I'm talking about 4 of them.
I'm checking the dictionary, and yes, Graham, it appears you are correct.
Saves inherently where the ball doesn't stay out of the net are called goals.
By the way, Houston, Jay
I couldn't believe
Blankenship
it.
was very concerned about your quote stress test today.
Brilliant. Did they teach all those fancy terms in goalkeeping school?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
saves stay out back of net.
No. You know what? Problem's not the stress test. I passed the stress test. It was the cath exam, which I failed miserably.
Sure money.
I don't care again. Once again, though, it is Villa's fault. So I wrote, I am looking at Villa with the same smug-ass face Bruno Fernandes did after his goal. I'm down $3,300. I haven't hit a single bet all season. I'm fucked.
I don't have to put anything in the cup because I hit with my goal explosion and both of my victories, and I'm only down $1,252.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
15.625% of the time, Mr. Graham. Works 100% of the time. 5 more right than you, my good friend. 5 more right than you. I'm going to go ahead, continue with a little bit of my Liverpool play, but the odds aren't very good. So I'm going to do a 3-leg parlay of favorites. Liverpool over Brentford, United over West Ham, and City over Leeds at plus 257. Hopefully I can get myself below $1,000 in the hole this week.
Imagine bragging, being at 15%.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Better than 0.
True.
Not much.
Yeah, it sucks for me.
15% better than 0.
It sucks for me. Why? What a loser.
No, he is going to bed, but I do have a message from him. He forgot to mention that he called out of work after last Thursday, Friday episode. And he has it with all the I's and all the A's on that one.
Real quick, just for everybody watching, let me show you my surprised face.
He said, worth it. It fucking poured rain all day.
That would be my surprise face. So do we have an email from him then?
Yes, we do have an email from him, and I will read it out as soon as I get his intro played by our producer, who's
Who's
supposed to
still
be pushing buttons.
Still playing with her
But
phone.
is not pushing buttons.
Yeah.
Buttons.
And now,
Yeah.
it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Sorry,
Don't
Her
throw your
Majesty.
arms in the air like it was a victory. That's not a victory. That's not a win.
I found the button.
You know what that meme was? That's the meme of the guy spraying champagne on his face, but he's in 10th place
Yeah, exactly.
on the stairs.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Woo! I did it. No.
Her Majesty was texting me.
All right. So Pat writes in, well, that corner's bet got off to a great start and then crashed and burned almost as big as the Hindenburg
He hit it on the end, though.
or
He
Kid
just
Rock
missed
after
the
those
middle.
gay Bud Light cans.
Yeah, he hit the first one, missed in the middle, and hit the last one because it was over 9.5 in the Leicester Everton match.
Yeah. So this week I'm taking 3 games, risking only $100. First is a midweek match. I'll take Arsenal over Chelsea. Then on to the weekend, I'll take a draw in the Tottenham Palace game at plus 300, and Arsenal again over Newcastle at plus 175. Thanks, Dick. Short and sweet email this week because I took off enough. I took off enough of all's. Wow.
Words are fun.
No,
His
Yeah,
words are fun. I'm not saying your words are
short
fun.
and sweet email this week because I took off enough of your all's time last Thursday. Oh, your all's, like y'all's.
Yeah.
Who writes y'all's out? We're from Maryland. Who writes y'all's out?
Nashville Toffees. And if y'all know your history.
Yeah, exactly. No one writes y'all out anymore. You guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you next Monday. All right, buddy.
There we go. Brought it back home. What about your bet, Mr. Graham?
Reading that was a lot like reading my notes this week. It was bad.
Spaces and words that don't need spaces.
Just random letters. I wrote, but Brentford proved too much, but BVUT. But
But
there's a lot of fucked up
That's
shit
like
here.
me trying to read show titles at the end of a recording.
yeah, just the random shit you write.
All right, so sticking to my word, I'm going for broke. Either I'm going to win both the Premier League and betting, or I'll win neither.
Got it.
I'm going whoever's playing City, I'm betting for them. West Ham to win for $100.
There we go. What's
Plus 1,200.
there you go.
I
Go
like
for
that
it.
logic. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so either I win it all or I win all or nothing.
Fuck yeah.
Subscribe to Samazon.
Is this a good time to plug Patreon?
Yeah. Patreon.com/DU Football Show to sign up for all of your fun extracurriculars.
I love it. Fucking go for it.
That's
I
it.
like where your head
I'm
is.
going
Mr.
for
Graham.
broke.
I like where your head is.
Yep.
That's
So
exciting.
I'm picking whoever is playing City for the rest of the season. Now, should I win one or two of them and I come close, let me revisit this. Nah, I won't. I'm dumb enough.
Now, I'd like to say we're all winning, but you know what? Even the chicken's losing too.
Well, Kitty missed on her bet and sits at 16 and 17. So this week,
Soft ass penalty.
I gave Kitty Liverpool hosting Fulham. Now, Kitty showed me a recent Instagram post of her backstage with Jamie Carragher.
Jamie Carragher.
Jimmy Carragher?
What did I say?
You said Jimmy Carragher.
Okay.
If she's doing Hooked on Phonics, Car
Hooked on
Ragger. Car Ragger does work.
Y'all sound like the DMX version of Reading Rainbow. Is that the one y'all watched? Come on!
So, Kitty showed me a recent Instagram post of her backstage with JC for the Champions League coverage. Now, Jamie is a boyhood toffee, but his career has been as a Red, and, well, she picks Liverpool to win this weekend.
Very good.
I may not be able to pronounce Carragher.
Just go for it.
Carjar? Mm-hmm. Carjar Biggs?
You know what Jamie would tell
Oh
you?
my God, that's the fucking
That's the
most
end?
pitiful thing.
Hey, but you know what I can pronounce?
Jamie would tell you to do the following.
Huh?
Gamble legally and responsibly.
Damn it.
Championship corner.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh no! Oh, the shit we'll never hear.
Mel may get relegated after that performance. Where's Carson at?
Telling me what to eat.
He's busy coming up with a nutrition plan.
You know, that's how it works.
What is it, salmon and snow? Fucking Viking. I ain't listening to that shit. What do you want me to eat? Oysters? Get the fuck out.
We're losing our producer. She's done. She's done.
I'd rather have Jan produce the fucking show.
Bring us home, Mr. Graham.
All right, so Millwall started the weekend off with a 3-2 win over Blackpool. They had Burnley confirming their champions status with a 2-1 win over Bristol City. Coventry 2-0 over Birmingham. Hull and Swansea played to a meth-ridden 1-1 draw. Reading and Wigan played to a very kind 1-1 draw because their cities don't do meth. Sheffield United 4-1 over Preston. QPR 1-0 over Stoke. Sunderland 2-2 with Watford. West Brom 2-1 over Notch. On Sunday, Huddersfield 2-1 over Cardiff, which is huge.
Big.
Today, you had Rotherham beating Borough 1-0 and Blackburn drawing Luton 1-1.
Rotherham, that made them safe.
Yes. So that has your table looking something sexy. Because there's a lot going on in the playoff hunt and a lot going on in the relegation battle.
Well, one thing going on in the relegation battle, but it's like Mel. It's a lot going on over there.
It's a lot riding on it.
Yeah,
say that.
there is.
But Monday at 10 a.m., so 3 p.m. English time, all of the championship games kick off.
Right.
So you should tune in to one in particular if you don't follow any club, and I would say that's Huddersfield Reading, in my opinion, and watch the Warlock do his magic and keep Huddersfield in the league and send Reading crashing down.
Well, unless somehow Huddersfield gets a point against Sheffield on Thursday.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they could. They do play. Yeah, that's right.
It's over.
They do have a game in hand. I'm seeing that here.
Yeah.
You're right. But they also, if they lose, right, 1-0, a 1-0 win for Reading, that final game of the season, would keep Reading up on goals scored.
Yeah, they would be level on points, level on goal differential. Goals scored would be the tiebreaker.
Would be the tiebreaker.
Third tiebreaker.
That's dope.
Fucking crazy.
Anyway,
top of the table. Talk about the top of the table too.
Burnley's champions easily, 98 points. They're 10 points clear with only a game to play. So even Sheffield United's game in hand, plus the last game of the season, is not going to be able to see them overtake them. However,
Sheffield safe.
Sheffield United is promoted as well, confirmed, because Luton, Middlesbrough, Coventry, and Millwall all only have one game left to play, and they are a minimum of 9 points ahead of those behind them. I think I misspoke last week, and I just doubled 24.
Right.
It said there was 4 games left.
Yeah.
There's not. There's
one.
There's one. 2 for some teams. Sorry.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Luton is in the first playoff position in third place on 79 points. You have Middlesbrough in fourth, so they're guaranteed to be in the playoffs, Luton. Middlesbrough guaranteed to be in the playoffs. No problem there. Here's where it gets interesting. Coventry's on 69 in fifth. Millwall occupies the last playoff spot in sixth on 68. Sunderland are in seventh on 66, West Brom in 8th on 66, and Blackburn is all but done because of their goal differential. They're also on 66 points with a -3. So that sets up a situation where if Cardiff were to lose, right, but Sunderland, say, win and West Brom both win by like 4 or 5 goals each, 6 goals each, something like that, they could both leapfrog both teams in front of them.
Yep.
So there's a lot happening here and could set up a very exciting final day of the season. They are all also on 45 games.
Yep.
So they only have that last game to play for. That's exactly right. Sunderland has a better goal differential than Millwall in 6th. West Brom has only a goal. They're only a goal back in goal differential from Millwall in 6th. So a win for either one of those, coupled with a Millwall loss, would see them go over, but it has to be a win. A win and a Millwall draw will see either of those clubs jump. Blackburn needs all 3 of those clubs to lose because of their goal differential. Because if Millwall were to draw and finish on 69 points, Blackburn would also finish on 69 points, but have a worse goal differential than everybody else, unless they won by some ridiculous fucking margin, which won't happen.
Yep.
It is all to fucking play for, and
Monday's going to be fucking awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Monday's going to be a really fucking awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
And it's beautiful because they all play early and the Prem plays late.
Yeah.
So you can catch both. If you're if you got a little free time on Monday and you're
it's going to be a good football day. It's going to be a good football day.
Great fucking football day.
And then, of course, we'll get into the playoffs when they come up because they're always a joy seeing, the emotion and the fun. But what I wanted to say was QPR had a game. I can't remember who it was against, though, but it was somebody else in the championship this past weekend. Who did I say they lost to 1-0?
I don't recall.
Or did I? Scores. Let's find it because it's important. It's important for a bad reason. QPR and Stoke is who it was. QPR won 1-0. I'm going to read you some statistics in this game real fast. Stoke had 80% possession. They had 2 shots on target from 6 total shots. All 4 of QPR shots were on target. They only had 20% of the ball. The XG, which everybody loves to harp on about, right?
Right.
The XG for QPR was 0.2.
Mm-hmm.
The XG for Stoke, I guess the chances they created weren't very good. The XG was 0.0 after having 80% of the ball. It literally, statistically, was the worst game of football ever played. Going back to the invention of football.
Championship gonna championship, man. That is exactly how it works.
It is fantastic.
All right, that's going to wrap it up, so boys and girls. Sammy, any parting words?
I don't think so.
Watch footy on Monday, man. It's going to be fucking great.
Monday's going to be brilliant. Monday's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, and all the lower leagues will be done by Tuesday.
Just be careful. Don't pull your hamstring celebrating in somebody's face. Like Jurgen Klopp did to the 4th official the other day.
Mel, anything from the bevy of listeners?
Yes. Taylor has a lot to say.
He always does.
Going back to the very beginning, I'm not going to repeat that joke about him being a vaginal martini fan, but I will say that as far as Graham's hair flows down over his ears, can he do the Princess Leia earbud thing yet?
I think I can. It's not going to be over my ears, but I think I can get it wrapped properly. You know what happened the other day?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I got a little drunk playing video games with Dave Saturday, I think it was. And
Let me guess. Rocket League?
Yeah, it was Rocket League. He got off the phone, and I had this one chunk like this was just kind of hanging out with me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I decided to braid it.
Okay.
You decided.
I did. And I can braid. I have 2 daughters.
Did you put beads in it? And
No,
go
I
Viking?
actually didn't have an extra hair tie or anything.
Because alcohol.
And I didn't have anything small enough to wrap around the tip of it.
Mm-hmm. Just the tip.
So, which is why I have
how
3
it
kids.
feels.
Whee. So what I did is I just braided it real tight, and it stayed for like probably 3/4 of it. It stayed. The bottom kind of frayed a little bit and opened up, but I didn't tell anybody because everybody was asleep already, obviously. And then I get upstairs, I go to bed, I wake up, and the first thing my wife says to me in the morning was, Did you braid your hair there? I was like, yeah. What's it to you? That was it.
Great parting words. Hairstyling techniques by Sam Graham.
It's also very hard to do in the mirror, by the way. I got very confused as whether I was going up or down.
All right. Well, again, thanks so much for joining us. Next up is Injury Time. We're going to talk about our adopted clubs. Really only one adopted club. We're going to kind of talk about fantasy because the week isn't over yet. And we're going to preview the week's action. Should somebody want to check out Injury Time, Sam, how do they go about doing it?
One more time for it. It's patreon.com/DUFootball show. And just sign up to that $5 tier. You get both of our extra shows. Sound check, which is our actual sound check. Today we talked about levels on our headphones. And catching up from the week. And then Injury Time, which Sam already discussed. And then make sure you visit the Drip Shack because it's a good time buying stuff of ours.
Already covered all the bases. Till next week, everybody.
Good night.